Hey gamers! Are the microtransactions of life getting you down? All this buzz around cryptocurrency, but no idea what to go with. It's time that you check out the GMR Zone, a weekly podcast for all things that are GMR. What is GMR, you're asking? Well, it's the premier cryptocurrency that's made for gamers by gamers. And GMR is no ordinary token.
Do you want to learn more about the unique tokenomics that feature instant rewards for holders? Plus exclusive content from the upcoming GMR Center, which will be taking the gaming world by storm soon. Then you're going to want to listen to the GMR Zone podcast. That's G as in golf, M as in Mike, R as in Romeo, Zone podcast. Be sure to search for it in your favorite podcast app and follow or subscribe.
Hey guys, Gronk here, calling a 30-second hair huddle. When it comes to tackling hair loss, Hims has you covered. From clinically proven regrowth treatments to thickening, shampoo, and conditioner. Just go to 4hims.com for a free consultation. Then a licensed medical provider can help you with your game plan. If prescribed, Hims ships directly to your door. Get your hair back in the game with Hims. Try today and get a 90-day money-back guarantee at 4hims.com.
Just go to 4hims.com/podcast. That's 4hims.com/podcast. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network, Verizon. Best and most reliable based on Root Metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
Welcome back, gamers, to Budget Arcade, your number one free-to-play video game review podcast. In the normal weeks, we review free-to-play games. Your boy Jeff, Scott, and I, we all take turns yelling at each other about how well we liked a game or how much trash the game that we played is. However, in these off weeks, I typically go it alone. And I talk video game news, what's coming out soon, some reviews of more popular games, maybe not a free-to-play title. But this is what we do in these off weeks, is we just spitball. And I sometimes ramble on about nonsense, and other times I pick a topic, and you get to hear me ramble about that topic. But however, this week, in this off week, and make sure, as an aside, you go back to last week where we reviewed... Dang, what did we review last week? It wasn't Pokemon Unite, it was something else. Contra Returns we reviewed. I really liked it. Scott and Jeff, not so much. So make sure you give that episode a listen. Yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. This week, however, I'm going to talk It's not a AAA, it's an indie title. But it has blown up since it was released late last year. The video game is Hades. It is a top-down roguelike dungeon crawler. And if you're familiar with roguelikes, it is a game where you die often, and you're brought back to life with a set of certain abilities that you get to keep, and other abilities you lose, and you make progress through playing the game over and over and over. There's a ton of games in this genre, and I am not a big roguelike genre fan. I don't play a ton of roguelike games. The last roguelike game I played was a couple months ago. It was the PS5 exclusive Returnal. which is more. It is a roguelike, but it was more action, gunplay oriented, and I wasn't really a fan. So when I chose to play Hades, and I'm playing on the PS5, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. I think this game is fantastic. It's a great game. It is entrenched in Greek mythology, where the main character you play as is Zagreus, the son of Hades, which is the god of the underworld. And the main premise of the game is that you are trying to escape from Hades, is because as the son of Hades, you have been, I guess, not really banished, but told you can't leave Hades. And as Zagreus, you are curious about where you come from and who the family that you have that isn't in Hades, which is all the other gods who currently sit on Mount Olympus. Zeus and Poseidon and Hermes and all the other gods that aren't trapped in Hades. So you're pretty much just you're told that you have to, through the game, is that you progress the story by ascending through the underworld and into the different realms. And so one of the main aspects of the game is how the story is told, and the narrative of the story is told by dying and returning back to Hades, and that's where you start. Your house in Hades, and by speaking with other, characters, recurring characters that pop up once you die, and you have to go back and speak with either your father Hades or your assumed mother Styx, or Achilles who helps you along, and the story is told very intimately through different interactions with these characters, and the more times you die, the further you progress the story in the game. And it's the gameplay is fantastic. It's super fast paced. It's it's nonstop action. It's chaotic at different times. But the more times you die, and the more times that you go through a run, the more abilities you gain, and each different god that you run into grants you certain abilities, depending on how far through the story you are and how far the narrative has progressed. And these abilities play into the type of weapon that you've chosen. And as you progress through the story, you unlock certain weapons. My favorite weapon is the railgun that shoots an explosive projectile, a rocket, if you will. There's my other favorite weapon is a shield that it's almost like, the Captain America, you throw it and it comes back to you. And the ability to unlock certain maneuvers with these weapons, and the more playthroughs and runs you progress with, the more abilities you have with the certain weapons. And so the game prides itself on these abilities, and it's quick. The combat is quick. It is reactive. The more times you play against a certain boss character, the more times that they become aware of what weapon you're using and how to combat against that. And so you may run into that. Hey, this sword weapon that I'm carrying isn't great against this boss character, so I need to change up my tactics. You may have run into a character that has only appeared when you carry a certain weapon. So, when these characters pop up, they present different narrative options, and unlocking the combination of narrative and gameplay mechanics goes hand in hand. And as you progress through the different levels of the underworld, which there are 3 in total, and as you progress, things get harder. The enemies get harder. Depending on which weapon you have, you may breeze through 2 different levels of the underworld. Then you get to the 3rd level, and all of a sudden you hit a wall because that particular level and that weapon that you have don't jive well. And so when you die, you have to rethink, okay, what's a weapon that allows me to have less difficulty all the way through, rather than just breezing through the first 2 levels and then coming to a wall in the 3rd. And that may be the spear that you get, or the shield, or the railgun. The game is so open as far as like the customization of levels and weapons. Now, the game does state that no run is completely the same as the last, and I found that that's sort of true. You do run into the same level designs, but you may not run into the same types of enemies in the particular level, and so in that aspect, that is true. However, it is not roguelike definitive that each run is completely different, is because the levels are situated a certain way. And so each room that you progress in the different levels rewards you with either some life aspect where you gain more life, or you gain more currency to use to level up back at your house in Hades when you die. There are keys that unlock more ability or weapons. And so there are 6 weapons in total, and then countless abilities that can carry over from run to run that give you a leg up. And you have to think about how you want to spend your currency in that way. There is a currency that allows you to redecorate, and I use quotes around redecorate, in-game, because the redecoration, and you use this currency at a contractor. It's the game calls them a contractor, and it allows you to redecorate and gives you more ability. Like one redecoration option puts urns in each room that you breaking the urn may grant you money to spend, and you run into each level has a couple of rooms where the character of Charon, who is the ferryman that is meant to carry souls to and from the underworld, you can spend your money with him, and he allows you to purchase different ability upgrades, or what are called boons, which give your weapon or like a dash move more ability, and so those are important as you progress through the level.
The future of gaming is already here, and it's powered by crypto. Buy games, stream, and unlock exclusive content through the GMR Center, and tune into the GMR Zone podcast wherever you prefer to listen. Learn more at gmr.finance.
We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network, Verizon. Best and most reliable based on Root Metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
So different runs yield different results, and if you were to die against a boss and then progress again in another run back to that same boss, the narrative and the dialogue options would indicate that they remember you. A boss will say, "Hey, oh, you're back again. Okay, cool. Well, it's not going to be. I'm not going to go as easy on you, or whatever." So, the intuitiveness of the gameplay is what I really bought into, and it allowed me to really, really enjoy this game. And I will say that the game is not easy by any means, and there is a God mode which gives you a certain level of protection, a certain percentage of armor, I guess, or resistance to enemy attacks. But that does by no means let you run through these levels. It kind of gives you a leg up. And so I thought that the gameplay matched up well with the difficulty, and it never once gives you a kind of a sense of entitlement playing it, is because even as I progress and I beat the game, I found that each run was rewarding and frustrating in its own sense, and I think that's what the game is going for. And in a roguelike game, it's meant to present frustration but rewards at the same time. And the rewards in Hades are, hey, even though you died, it has now unlocked more dialogue options and has now progressed the story a little bit. And now you are being shown that you have these other guns and abilities and weapons that, because you died, have now been unlocked. And so the frustrating aspect is that you're going to die, and you're going to run through these levels hundreds of thousands of times. I don't know how much time I've put into the game, but I can tell you that I have died hundreds of times, and each time I died, I found myself going, well, dang, that didn't go as I thought it would. But when I got back to my house in Hades, after I died, there was a character that had new dialogue for me, and the new dialogue led to a new weapon, or the new dialogue led to new abilities. And so while I thought I had progressed through a level to a point where I never had before, the reward for dying and may seem counterproductive, but the reward for dying was becoming stronger. And so that is the aspect of Hades that I absolutely loved, and presented unique challenges that never once felt like the game was overcompensating for any of its difficulties. The game's artwork and how the story is told, the voice acting. There are no cutscenes really. There are just dialogue that is spoken, and I thought the dialogue was fantastic. The different voice acting for the different characters made everything seem fresh and unique. I didn't feel like any one voiceover had the same feel, and so that felt refreshing. The character of Zagreus and the voice actor that plays Zagreus, I didn't look him up because honestly, it's the voice acting is very well done. But how the artwork and the voice acting interact with each other is that they're meant to feel cool. The voice acting, or I'm sorry, the artwork for these characters, they're buff and they're ripped and they're godlike, and they have cool haircuts, and Zagreus is kind of a playboy, and so when he's interacting with different characters, it's kind of this dating simulator, where there's a back and forth and a flirtatious narrative behind the interaction with certain characters. And it doesn't matter who the character is, if it's a male or female. There's that certain flirtatious vibe that you get while you progress through the story. And I felt like that was very unique in its own right. And even after you beat the game, you there's still things to do. There's still abilities to be unlocked, and a time trial aspect of how long does it take for you to progress in a run, and can you beat your top time as you run through with these different abilities. And so the game is great, and it got a lot of Game of the Year buzz late last year in 2020. And at the time, I didn't really understand why. It's because here we're talking about an indie title. It's developed by Supergiant Games, who they've had a couple of indie hits, but nothing on the level of Hades. And I was just wondering, I was like, is it warranted? And I'm kicking myself that it took me so long to play this game, is because this is one of the best games I've played in the past couple years, hands down. And the fact that I'm playing on the PS5 is just kind of a cherry on the top, because the game has taken advantage of all the PS5 has to offer as far as tech goes, and makes the game look absolutely fantastic. I imagine it still looks great on other platforms, other lesser platforms like the Switch and the PS4 and whatnot. But the game was built for the PC originally, I believe. I may be wrong, but I remember thinking that the game was built for PC and then migrated to consoles, and has now since been reworked to accommodate what consoles do best in their controls. I find on the PS5 the controls are very fluid, very responsive, and do not present any type of barriers when I'm engaging with different environments in the gameplay. So it's out on all consoles now and the PC. It is a fantastic game. If you haven't played it, or if you've been on the fence about playing it, give it a shot. Even if you're not a roguelike fan, like me, I'm not a big roguelike gamer, but this game has me wanting to play other good roguelike titles. And I'm appreciative that Supergiant Games made such a great game that it has made me want to dive into a genre where I felt like I would not enjoy myself. And so that's Hades. If you want to get in touch with us, and I understand this is a shorter episode, but that's what you get when you leave it to Mark. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on any of the social media platforms that you're on: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We even got a YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. We have a Discord. And if you want to join a community of like-minded gamers, but also with various taste and interest, make sure you find us on Discord. You find all the links in our show notes. If you want to support us, we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/budgetarcade. And you can become a paid supporter of the podcast, and you get exclusive access to our Patreon channel in Discord, where you get to interact with other Patreon subscribers, and myself, Jeff, and Scott. Elliot's on there. So pretty much anybody you've heard featured on the podcast, we're all there, and you get a little behind the scenes access to Budget Arcade. What are we playing next week? Next week we are reviewing the MMO Super Animal Royale? Super Battle Animal Royale? I don't know. It's not Diarrhea Castle, I know that much. But it is Super Animal Royale, which is available on the PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, the Xbox One, Series X, and Stadia. So if you want to play along with us and leave us some commentary in the Discord, we'll read it on the review show, and you'll be featured that way. Our music is provided by Stimage. You can find his music at metroidmetal.com. And that's it. So appreciate you listening. Next week we're playing Animal Battle Royale, and we'll catch you next time.
Imagineville Podcast Network.
We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network, Verizon. Best and most reliable based on Root Metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
You see a need? You have a solution. Now you're looking to start your own nonprofit to spark positive change in your community. Follow your passion with a Master of Public Administration at Cornerstone University. Study practical curriculum to launch your nonprofit with confidence, and learn in a way that fits your schedule as a busy adult, whether online or live stream. The MPA is expected to launch in September 2021. Visit adult.cornerstone.edu/MPA to learn more.